Hello, and welcome to SoulWhat. I'm Michelle Welch.
And I'm Roger Welch. What's up today, Michelle?
That's why I messed up the whole intro, because I looked at you, I could feel that. We're a Soultopia podcast, by the way. What are you doing?
What are we talking about tonight?
You tell me. You tell me.
Vampires.
Oh my God. We're talking about vampires?
Yeah.
Is it?
That's what you told me. Vampires.
Okay. We're talking about energy vampires and psychic vampires tonight. Oh my God. This is
You know how hard it is to get.
SoulWhat.
You know how hard it is to get fake plastic vampire teeth in June?
Or July or whatever this is. Those are better than usually though, because they're. Where'd you get them? A dollar store?
No, dollar store didn't have them. I went to a couple of dollar stores. I went to a couple other stores. Finally went to Party City. They had.
Did you get them for all of us?
Party City.
Did you get them for me and Matt?
I think I'm good.
No, you can't. You can't be on the show unless you're.
They look a little small.
They are. They are.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm not wearing these. I don't even know why I'm opening them. Okay, here, in case you need another pair. Were these like another size besides?
No. This was the only size they had. They had these, they're kind of translucent looking, and then they had the white ones, super white.
Yeah, this wasn't safe. So do those
Yeah.
glow in the dark?
I don't know. Did they say they glow in the dark?
I don't know.
No. But it says it's comfortable.
You sounded
fits.
five.
There was
No.
They were 99 cents. What do you expect for 99 cents?
A lot, actually.
It cost me more in gas to drive around and find those stupid things than
So where'd you finally find them, really?
Party City. Wait, Party City? Yeah, Party City.
Oh, okay.
The one we went to and got all that stuff for the Christmas.
So let's tell everybody, what do y'all think is Roger's favorite holiday ever? You know what it is, right? Halloween.
Halloween.
For sure, right?
I like Halloween. Yeah.
Is it your favorite?
Probably. Yeah.
What's your favorite time of year?
Because you get to dress up.
Yeah, well, you dress up whenever you want, really.
Well, yeah, true.
When's your favorite time of year?
I like the fall time because it's cool. You get out, go do stuff.
I
Out in the
used
woods.
to,
Because I used to run in the woods, like especially when I lived in East Tennessee, you get to run through the woods. Not naked, just run through the woods.
okay, thanks for clarifying that part of the story, right?
Well, you could run through the woods naked.
You could. Probably plenty chasing Sasquatch, right?
Probably. Plenty of deer and bear out there. That's all that's out there.
No, that's not all that's out there. Well, maybe in Tennessee.
No,
Okay.
they have lots of sightings there. They actually have a whole page just for that now.
What, a whole page? What do you mean by whole
Sasquatch
page?
sightings in
in
East
that-
Tennessee. Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they actually have a big conference there now.
What's the best place to go for like a legit Sasquatch conference? Matt? Roger?
Probably, I would say probably somewhere in Oregon or California.
Yeah.
But there's some here too.
Well, I know the one in I think it's Jefferson.
Yeah.
Is a pretty big one
Yeah.
now. If you're local to the, North Texas area.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's a good one for sure because we have friends who go out there to that one. There's a ranch, and they might not do it still, but there's a ranch just between Jefferson and Shreveport. I think it is actually kind of on the border, Louisiana-Texas border, like 2,500 acres or something crazy like that. They do camps and hunts, so you can go out and set you up at a camp, camp tent and everything, and at night they go hunt.
Yeah, we talked about that before to clarify what kind of hunting. All right.
Sasquatch.
So we're talking about today
Mm-hmm.
energy vampires. I even brought a book. There's a bunch of books on this, but energy
Yes, there
vampires,
is.
or some people call them psychic vampires.
Yep.
So do you want to start and define what that is?
Oh, not a bloodsucker, I'm assuming.
No. So what would it be?
Actually, okay, so it'd be somebody that actually kind of, if you think about it in just very simple terms, it's somebody that can drain your energy, whether it's energetic energy, your just physical energy, things like that. It just totally drains your energy out of your body.
So does it have to be a person?
I guess it doesn't have to be a person.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be a person. But typically, then talk about it. That's what we talk about, isn't it?
That's what most people, when they'll talk about psychic vampires, the way you most of the time hear about it is, you'll mostly hear, I don't agree with this, but this is how you mostly hear about it, is someone is a psychic vampire, and they usually mean it in the sense that somebody is intending to be it. Okay, so what they mean by that is, if, for instance, you have this really good energy and I intentionally try to drain your life force, like your chi, or I try to take your psychic abilities away from you, or I like something energetically that you have, so I'm intentionally trying to drain it from you. They might even imply that I would try to hook into you, sort of like cord to you and hook into your energy, almost like an IV, and connect to you and just drain your chi, your life force, or whatever it is I want from you, right? So that I think it goes beyond that. I don't think it always has to be, this is just my opinion. I think that's the typical, first of all. Is that what you have heard of it? So I don't think that it's always intentional.
I don't know if I agree with that.
Okay.
I think some people might try to do that.
I said always.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't think it's always intentional. I think that, I'll give you an example in a second, but I think that it can also be, things can do it too, because I think everything's energy. So it could be, you know, you could drain the energy of a tree. A tree could maybe even drain your energy. Nobody ever thinks about it that way, but they're living beings too.
I think this morning it was my bed. I didn't want to get up.
Okay. But I think people like to think of it as it's really bad and they're doing it on purpose. I think there are people who get in the habit of draining people's energy. So if they call you and they're always complaining, they may not realize they're doing it.
Yeah.
So like, I actually, it was, I won't say who it was, but I've told the story before and said who it was.
Let's don't name
Well, it's a family
names.
member. So anyway, I told this person, I was like, look this up. And they, you know, because they would call their friends, and they'd be all the time telling them all their issues, do this, that, and the other. And they were kind of a drain on people.
Yeah.
And but they didn't really mean to be. They were just always kind of laying their problems on people and all that kind of stuff. So I think you can unintentionally be an energy vampire because you're unintentionally draining people of the stuff.
Kind of dumping on people and taking all their vitality.
So then you do agree?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
Okay. But do I think there's also those that will intentionally say, oh, look, this person, and I think where Benabel Wynn talks about it in the foreword to my book, plug, here we go, The Magic Connection. But I do talk about courting, and we talk about this very issue in the book, and she talks about psychic vampires. I think she uses the term psychic vampires, maybe energy vampires. And she said that, I won't give it away, but she tells a bit of a story about at certain types of conferences, it happens more. Do you remember, that certain times we'll go to certain types of conferences, and people will, if they feel like somebody's really open to something, they may intentionally just say, hey, we could drain that person's energy. Right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And there's another sense of maybe they'll try to take somebody's powers away.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay. So they're intentionally doing it.
That's intentional.
Yeah.
When I first heard about it, I just thought, oh, that's so, come on, really? So I guess it can happen, and I guess, people will intentionally do it. That's why people will say, well, Michelle, you're way too open. You're always susceptible to people doing that. That's why they then start talking about a lot of ways to protect against it, right?
Exactly.
How do you feel about that? Do you feel like you always have to protect against it?
I think you got to pay attention to your energy, how it is all the time anyway. But if you feel like maybe something is kind of pulling that energy at some point, you really need to, your spider senses need to start tingling and really put some shields up and actually start seeing what's happening and who's around and pay attention to that person.
Right. So I do believe in checking, I do believe in watching out for it. I just don't believe in going overboard to where we're always assuming it's someone else.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I call mind your own energy first. So do a body scan first before you just assume that, oh, my energy's great, but I walked in the room and Matt, now all of a sudden I have bad energy, must have been Matt, and he drank, now I have chronic fatigue, I'm tired the rest of the night, oh, who can I blame that on? I'm tired. Well, maybe I'm just tired.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of people who will just all of a sudden, because they hear about it, and then all of a sudden you have something to latch on to instead of taking accountability for your own energy and your own energetic health, you all of a sudden say, oh, somebody must be a psychic vampire.
Right.
And that's where I think it can get dangerous that we blame, we're not scanning our own energy first. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, you always got to, and we always say it is you kind of mind your own energy, is you need to take care and be responsible for yourself overall.
Do you see it a lot with, so here at Soultopia, Roger, in case you guys don't know, Roger does the aura chakra photos. There's like a printout. We've talked about them before. I'm looking at the machine right now. We keep it in the podcast room, or at least one of the boxes for it.
It's right there.
There's a printout. There's a box for the printer right
That's
there.
the printer, yeah.
And but there's the chakras and the aura.
Yes.
And then you get a big long report of it. But you also do a reading.
Right.
You can see auras actually without a machine, but this one's really cool and prints everything out. How often have you seen, with working with the machine, that you feel like maybe somebody's potentially is under some sort of psychic attack?
Not a lot, but occasionally. I had one last weekend when I was, I probably did, I don't know, 10 or 12 through the day. And I had one that probably was.
And why did you think
Because
that?
if you look at like the aura overall, it was like spots, like totally dark spots in the aura that was completely missing color of any type. It was just, it looked like a hole that went straight through, the person.
And then did you just intuitively think that they were being attacked, or did you intuitively think, how did you not know that they didn't invite that in?
Well, they could have, actually. Nobody's going to come up and say, oh, yeah, well, that's what I want. I mean, really. But, talking to the lady, she did feel like she had had people kind of drain her energy sometimes, kind of like what you're talking about, the people that play the victim, say, and come to her, kind of lay all their worries and woes out onto her, and she had a tendency of carrying it with them, but because she allowed them to dump it off on them, on her. So I think if, with something like that, she needs to learn, though, you can, listen to somebody's issues, but not to carry it with you, and not to let them just dump it all onto you.
Right.
And which can, easily happen at any time with with that.
Right. That is one, I think sometimes you need to be careful with your energy in the sense of who you let work on you and who you energetically, like energy work, healings, things like that. You should be just, minding your energy, who you go to, and have whatever kind of work you have done on you. I would always get referrals and things like that. That's just me personally. That's something I have become more and more. I would used to go, oh yeah, let's go over to this person. They can, and even if you're going to get massages and stuff too, yes, you're in their auric field. You're walking in the mall, and you're going to be in, maybe not now in the mall so much, but you would be. You're going to be around people's auric fields, right? Yeah. But you just want to be, if you're intentionally allowing somebody in your auric space, in your auric field, all your layers, right? Even if they're standing out 20 feet from you potentially, or 10 feet, they're in your space, and you might want to be aware of that.
Well, if you think about it, I mean, if you interview people that's, doctors or anything, attorneys, you interview any of those people before you actually let them do work on you or, work for you.
Yeah.
Why would you not do that same thing for people who do energy work?
Well, you just made me think of something too. This topic crosses a little bit over into another subject that I don't know if we've talked about it before, but we've touched on it. Maybe we have. Is of like entities. So there's a difference of like a psychic. Here we're talking about people or another. We said, could it be something besides a person? I think it could. I mean, because I think everything's energy. So I think it could be even, you could get to those scary movie things we watch. Is there some entity draining and getting globbed onto you? I think potentially it could, actually. I think it's not as common as people think. But I do think we can get that kind of icky energy or thought forms that can come about. Thought forms, right? I think we're going to do another show on that, on thought forms, because that's a whole nother topic, really,
Right.
That we create, and we can do a bunch of shows on that. But that can get, whatever you want to call those, I guess when I was asking about that aura photo that you did, when you see those blobs or those sharp, sometimes I've seen them as like sharp points piercing into somebody's auric field, and
Right.
you can feel them, and they don't feel like guides or angelic beings. They feel something more piercing into somebody's auric field, and that person might have headaches, or they might have, like I said, chronic fatigue. They're always tired, or they don't feel well. Typically, that's a lot of times when you can look and see if something's kind of, someone or something has kind of wreaked havoc with them.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But a lot of times I say check yourself first. You know, check
Exactly.
yourself before you check somebody else, right? Yeah.
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 So I found this list here, and I know you've got it in that book too.
Yeah,
of
this
the
book's
different
so-so,
times.
yeah.
So there's, this one here is actually, because one of the things is identifying the different types of energy vampires.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's see how you can, think about this. The victim or the martyr.
The martyr?
Yeah.
Okay.
The victim.
The victim.
What do you think about that?
Okay, yeah. Is it long?
Nah, it's not too bad. Well, I'm not going to read the whole thing because it would probably be, but
Okay, let's do it.
This one here, this is number one, is actually the victim or the martyr. They prey off your guilt. So, it's this person that, like you're kind of talking, they guilt you into feeling sorry for them and pull your energy down because of that. The next one they talk about is the Narcissist Vampires. And that's, they just don't show empathy or genuine interest in other people. Okay. And it's all about them.
Yeah.
100% about them. The Dominator Vampire.
What's that?
Okay.
I know what dominator.
Yeah. So this makes you feel like they're the alpha. They're superior to everybody
Okay.
else. Okay. Loudmouth type people. We've got, yeah.
Okay.
You
No,
may have known some of those. The melodramatic vampire.
that's me.
Okay. They thrive on creating their problems. Yeah. Thrive on creating their own problems. Constant drama.
I've had enough. I'm out on that one. Thank
Yeah.
you. Take that somewhere else.
Yeah. This one, the judgmental vampire.
That one's me too. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah. And that one, it says, is that usually their issue is more because of their severe low self-worth. Yeah,
Yeah.
insecurity. Yeah. And they like to pick on other people.
Well, no, that's not me for sure.
Yeah. The innocent vampire, and they're always looking for malicious, as in the case with innocent vampires. What the hell? But
Well, they look on
yeah,
other people to prey on.
yeah,
probably,
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was actually.
Well,
on
that's
this
good.
one.
This book's kind of good. This one's called, if you guys want to check it out, I think it's fairly new, and we did have it in the store. I don't think we do
No.
now. Well, it's not that new, actually. It's $19.99, but I got it because a lot of people ask about the topic. And I do believe it's on Kindle, too. We don't have it in the store right now. But there's a quiz at the beginning. It says calculating your energy balance and individual danger zones. I found it kind of interesting. Won't read all the way through it, but a sampling of the questions. They have it into personal well-being and self-assessment. That's the first one. Like, are you often tired for no reason? Are you often angry? Do you think you don't have enough money? You're not paid enough? Do you think you have more accidents or mishaps than other people? Do you find it hard to concentrate? And then checklist 2, that's a sampling of the first category. Checklist 2, workplace and job. Do you often dislike your job or where you are in your career? Does the thought of going back to work after a weekend or vacation depress you? I'm skipping around here. If you own your own company or are responsible for managing business, do you have problems with low morale among your employees? Let's see. If you occasionally suffer from nightmares, do people or situations from work play a negative role in the dreams? The next checklist is circle of friends. After spending an evening or weekend with your friends, do you feel insecure or depressed? Do your friends frequently not respect your convictions and try to convince you of their opinions? There's more questions in the checklist. 4 is family and relationships. Do you often think or feel that you are not or you're no longer happy with your spouse? Does your spouse frequently ask for one-sided affection from you? Do you think you contribute more money, ideas, and initiative, or all sorts of things to the relationship than your spouse does? And then the last one is leisure time. Do you sometimes have to gather courage to step outside the door? Do you sometimes have the feeling that someone is following you? So it's you do all these, and then you score them, and then you analyze your score into your energy and how much protection you need. And it sounds like this author, who is Dorothy Harbour, isn't going to get into like psychic vampires just based on that, right?
Yeah.
But she does. She goes into the aura that we've already talked a little bit about, and the colors of the aura, which you've talked about on different shows, and then gives different exercises to help you strengthen your own auric field. The book is, I kind of can see why maybe we didn't carry the book again, to be honest with you, because it's one of those books that goes, and she gives some case studies. It's pretty good, but it's a long time before she really gets to the point. No offense, because it's a pretty good, it's pretty
I hope
good.
she's not watching.
No, I don't mean this rude. But about chapter 11, she says how to protect against energy vampires. But this is
to
where,
be all honest, it's not that thick of a book.
okay, but I really like it but I do really like it when she gets to the point, because she breaks it down into you and your company, your work, your family, and different things like that. But if we were to get to the point really quickly about how to protect, my biggest way that I would probably crystallize, the best way I would protect would be a black kyanite. And this is a black kyanite. And I would and we use these for what we call quickie clearings. Instead of having to come get a full energy clearing, you take this and just zigzag it over the person. And then to clear the energy field, I'm not going to hold that up, but you can. You don't have to use a knife.
I got a knife.
You don't have to use a knife. You can use just a selenite stick or wand, nothing fancy.
Yeah, because I just grabbed this one because it looked kind of cool on.
And then you can do that like you're going through the security when you like wand it over, like you're testing for, what are they testing for?
Bombs.
No, we'll radiate. Well, yeah, maybe.
Bombs.
And so you clear the
guns.
You clear off the energy.
Knives.
Yeah. So you clear off.
Weed. Oh wait, not weed for that. That's something else. Never mind.
So you clear off the energy with
Clear
that.
the energy off with the selenite.
So that's how.
Like
so,
Zorro.
Okay. But I don't even, okay. And I personally don't believe in cutting cords. So I'm about to hop off the podcast because I have another one that I'm a guest on.
I thought it was because I embarrassed you.
No, but I'm going to leave you hanging to do the rest of it. But I don't personally believe in cutting cords. So if somebody does, I believe we're all corded together, and so you can heal cords, and that's all in my book that's coming out. So this would be something that would symbolize this knife, cutting cords, and a lot of people do believe in that. So I spend a lot of time in my book dispelling that, because they always grow back, so to me it never works. So to me it's more important to heal cords and send light and different colored lights, and I have all kinds of different exercises to do that. And most people will say, well, yeah, I'm not going to do that because I can't stand that person. That ex was a narcissist, or she was a narcissist, and I don't ever, or they were abusers. Well, that doesn't mean you have to be around them. It just means you heal the cord, and you can like forgive from a distance. But the crystals are good. I'm going to leave it with you, Roger, for protection, to talk about like other things like sage and stuff like that.
I got actually a whole list of things here.
You're going to do a great job. Man, he can be so.
She's dumping me.
Now comes the funny part of the show. It's the Roger show, and and I'll let it be funny and
Just,
not.
Matt, keep in mind later, block her so she can't see the rest of the show, okay?
So, and I'm sorry that I have to 2 places at one time. So, yeah. Am I
she's
good?
ditching us, guys. What do y'all think about that? Ooh, they got a bunch of boo faces.
No,
on
now
that
that means that everybody's going to go up way up because Roger
Everybody's
can
got
do
the
whatever
boo
he wants to
faces.
do. Right? So it's Roger's show.
Yeah. All right, so guys, as we get rid of Michelle finally. So yeah, so you know you got a lot of different ways to kind of work with the energy vampires, the psychic vampires, the people draining your energy. If you think about it, if you one thing you can do besides crystals, and we're going to kind of come back to this in a minute, but one thing you can also do is actually meditate daily. I have a lot of people come in and they're like, oh yeah, I want to learn to meditate. I've tried to meditate, and they always have issues meditating because if you've never meditated before and you're trying to do a meditation that's maybe 20 or 30 or 45 minutes long and you've never meditated before, it's extremely hard to do that. So I always tell people, you know what, when you're meditating, find a guided meditation that you can kind of link to that's maybe 5 minutes or less. And just do that. Do it every day before you actually go to bed to kind of, you know, sit there, calm your mind, calm your brain, you know, get everything, you know, for the day kind of cleaned off of you. And do like I said, a 5-minute guided meditation, knowing that you only have that little 5 minutes. And then in about 30 days, add 3 or 4 minutes to it. And then as you're going to get used to that, add a few more minutes to it. In about 6 months or so, you probably could build up to about 20, 25 minutes, maybe even 30 minutes. Just go at your own pace. It's not a race. It's not a competition. Go at your own pace and work with what you have as far as the meditation and the time. If you get stuck and you're at 10 minutes and meditating for 10 minutes, go with it. I know that one guy was on here watching just a few minutes ago. I saw him, get on. And I think he's still on there watching. He said every evening, every afternoon, I kind of sit in my truck and I chill for a minute and I close my eyes, and sometimes I even fall asleep. But in that minute, I'm meditating. I've cleared my mind and I'm meditating, even though I might fall asleep for a few minutes. So, those things recharges your energy, and that's what you want to do, is recharge that energy from where maybe the people have tried to suck that energy from you. They've, dumped their woes and worries and stress all on you, and that's the last thing you want to do. So try meditation, number 1. Number 2, smile at them. You know what? Be happy, smile at them. What's that? You catch more flies with honey than vinegar? Think about it. You really want to get to somebody that they're having a bad day and they're trying to bring you down, smile at them, let them know you're not bringing me down. I'm having an awesome day. And just keep it going. And you know what? Smiling is contagious. Once you start smiling, other people start smiling, and everybody's energy goes up. So great one to actually do. Another thing is, don't engage with them. If you've got somebody coming at you and they're trying to, bring you down because they're trying to dump, man, my boss, he's an asshole. He's making me do this. He's making me do that. You know what, man? It is what it is. Let's talk about something else. Because, just try to turn that conversation into something positive. Maybe, don't let it go down that track because it's really easy for you to have a bad day and you're dumping on somebody and then they're dumping on you and then it's just back and forth. Try not to do that, because then you're kind of just draining everybody's energy. And good grief, if somebody's walking by listening to all that negativity, then you two are bringing down somebody else. So try not to engage in the conversations that are that negative, draining conversations. Try to keep it upbeat. Try to, everybody has a bad day. You know what? We all understand it. We can work with it, but it is what it is. And we just need to, try to turn it into something that's positive. I read something today. It was really cool, Matt. You ever have a bad day?
Yeah, all the time.
All right.
Yeah.
How long does it really last? Like 5 minutes?
It's
The bad
usually-
part's like 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. It's like it's not so much a bad day. It's like a bad thing or a
Yeah.
bad couple of things happen, and then that turns into a bad day. Or
Yeah.
something like that. Yeah.
So if you think about it, your bad day really was only like 5 or 10 minutes out of the whole day. So you're
Right.
going to screw up another 20 hours out of the day, 24. Well, I'm giving you all 20 hours out of the day because I sleep 4 hours is all. I guess some of y'all may sleep a little more.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, you're screwing up your entire day for a 5 or 10 minute period that was just a horrible part.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's and I think I do believe in getting some of that stuff out, like that negative energy out. And if you just have to say something to somebody, say it, but then let that be it. I know a lot of people that will just wallow in that, and it'll just bring up other things and past things that may have already been dealt with, I think it's important to just get it out there and say, okay, the bad thing happened, and let's move on.
Yeah. So, and here's one thing. Y'all know I'm in sales, right? So when I train new salespeople, they get a piece of paper, and they have somebody's name on it, address, go out to their house, and they may have a bad situation in it. This is what I tell them to do with it. You got that bad situation in your hand, you can dwell on that for the next week. Easy to do because everybody wants to complain about how bad it is, right? Not me. It's gone. I'm out. I don't worry about it ever again because I go in that situation. I don't want to dread it. I don't want to carry it with me. I'm just going to, get rid of that situation and move on to the next one and have a better time the next time. Okay? So that's the biggest thing. Don't engage in those types of things and try to move on with it. Another thing you can do is repeat positive affirmations. Keeping yourself upbeat, those things that are positive. One of the things I teach people, I kind of let them know, you know what, every morning, if you have like a couple of positive words, just say it written on your mirror over your kitchen sink, over your bathroom sink. So you get up, you're getting ready in the morning, and you glance up at your mirror, and you've got some positive words on your mirror right there. Think about how strong that is for the day as you're going through the day. That's the first thing you see in the morning, and it's on your mind. It might not be, 24/7 all day long you're, thinking about those words, but they pop up in your mind all during the day. So those positive affirmations, write one on your mirror, change it up every so often. That way you kind of remember those through the day. Shine brightly so their negativity won't weigh you down. You know what? Be that ray of sunshine, kind of make people feel good about having you around. Be the one they want to go hang out with, the one they go grab a beer, go just hang out with lunch, whatever. Be that one, that you don't have to be, what do they call them, Pollyanna? You don't have to be over the top.
Yeah.
But, be positive. Have a good time, Have a good time with people. All right? Attempt to help them. So, you know what? Sometimes we have a tendency, we know, because, if somebody's coming up to you and they are kind of dumping on us, and you kind of feel you're trying to get sucked in to their energy, draining your energy. Maybe you just need to kind of, hey, time out a minute. What can we do to make this situation better for you? Kind of get them back on track of how and what they need to do to help themselves too. It might be the case they just need to dump a second. But once they dump, let it go. Move on. Let's do something else. Let's do something positive now. Let's go have some fun. Cleanse your aura. We talked about the aura, about aura, and I was talking about how, like, when I do the aura photography, you can see spots sometimes. You know what? That's really important. Why cleansing your aura, even if you're doing like a salt bath. If you're doing saging, if you're doing, like a sage spray, anything like that you're actually working with, you want to, cleanse your aura ever so often just to keep things flowing, okay? Getting outside's a great thing to do. Get outside. You actually are, that sunlight, natural. Right now it's beautiful. It's sometimes a little warm. We have a giant oak tree in the backyard. Every morning I get up, I go out with the dogs, and I sit in that swing in that oak tree, just sit there and just chill for the morning. I do that probably about 15 or 20 minutes every single day, just getting outside. And that just makes me feel better for the day, just cleansing my aura, getting outside under that tree. Keep your vibration high, okay? Stay positive about things. Keep your energy high. The things we've talked about so far, like the meditation and everything there, that keeps that vibration going higher and higher for you. That's just what you want to do. Make yourself feel good. Keep that, exercise, eating healthy, meditating, friendships, relationships, everything like that. Get plenty of rest. Those are always good. That person is coming up to you is kind of negative about things. Don't feel sorry for them. Understand their situation, yes. You may have even been in the situation before and can help them with it. But don't just instantly feel sorry for them. Try to work through it. Try to, just don't fall into the trap with them. Okay? Stay positive. Don't let that energy get, pull you down too. Eating healthy, that's good. Sometimes, I don't have the greatest, part of that. Last night I splurged. I had cheeseburger and fries.
Nice.
I may have had a tea and a tequila, But I do overall. I try to eat healthy. Try to eat a salad every now and then. But those are, keeping your body clean, it helps a lot too. And then, spend a lot of time really recharging yourself. You know what recharges you, okay? Everybody's a little bit different in that if you think about it. Sometimes people love dancing, music, things like that. Some people love go to the gym, work out. Whatever works for you that makes you feel recharged. If it's taking a nap in the afternoon, take that time, recharge yourself, take care of yourself. Okay, those are like some really cool things that you really need to work with to get your. It's just a good way to block those energy vampires and the psychic vampires from draining your energy even faster, because that's the last thing you really want to do. Did I talk faster when she's not around, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah.
No, that's good stuff. Actually, Ashley on the SoulWhat page has a question that says, would you say it's more important to learn the types, I assume she means of energy vampires, and how to respond to them, or how to protect yourself from them? Do you think there's one way that's better than the other?
I would think you need to learn how to kind of protect yourself first, because probably identifying the psychic vampires or the energy vampires is probably a little tougher in the beginning. Whereas if you know how to start protecting yourself, you can feel that energy shift, especially if it's somebody, let's say it's a friend comes up to you and they're kind of starting, or friend, relative, whatever, right? And they start dumping on you and bringing you into their web of negativity. You can identify that pretty fast, right? But if you're at let's say an event like we were talking about a few minutes ago, and you're in an event and you start feeling drained, you might not know who's draining you because there's 300 people around you. So it's kind of a little bit harder. That in that instance, you got to know how to protect yourself, how to put up the, kind of shield yourself a little bit from that energy that you start feeling drained.
Yeah.
Or if it's somebody that you actually know that's coming up to you, that's where you kind of start learning those phrases like, hey, I understand, but let's take this and let's flip this around and do this. And let's try to, look at it a different way. It's all about being that, creating that positive vibe with that person and changing that look.
Yeah.
I think you would probably end up figuring out how to take care of yourself first, and then figure out how to identify those other people, because some of them are kind of tricky to identify too.
Yeah. Well, and I think, like y'all were talking about earlier, it's, not everybody intends to be that way. And I think if you're too busy looking around for, if you're looking constantly for energy vampires, then you're going to see them everywhere. Whenever somebody may just, like you said, may just be having a bad day or something like that. And it's, you may make a judgment about that person or about their character that you might not want to carry on for that much longer, or maybe incorrect.
That's exactly right, because it's kind of like, when you're shopping for a new car and you see that car, oh, that's a car I want. And then all of a sudden you see them everywhere.
Right.
Because you're noticing it all the time. They've always been there, okay? It's kind of the same thing. There's there's always negativity around you. There's always things around you that can drain your energy. It's up to us, though, to control ourselves and what we can do for ourselves. That's why it's important to do those things that actually kind of upbeat. We were talking about, like using the selenite and the kyanite and things like that. Crystals are great because with the crystals, we actually can use it to clear energy. We can use it for grounding. We use it for meditating, anything like that. It works great for that. Setting boundaries with people, that's another really good way if you think about it. If you think about, especially people that kind of push your buttons, okay?
Yeah.
Co-workers, people you work with, people you work for. Somebody I was talking to the other day, she was on vacation and her boss kept calling her. You know what? Set boundaries with that. You're on vacation. Your boss shouldn't be calling you unless it's a true emergency. Not to call you and say, hey, can you call this person? That's not a true emergency.
Yeah.
You got to set boundaries with those types of people.
Well, I also wonder if you can't maybe in some ways help these people by setting those boundaries, and if they are unintentionally being an energy vampire, if you stop them from that behavior, then they may just change.
And that's true. And a lot of times, if you think about it, they don't realize it because they've gotten away with it for so long.
Right.
They don't know that they're actually doing this. So when you take that power from them, basically is what you're doing. It's like, hold up a minute, time out. I'm not doing this shit with you. I'm on vacation. Isn't this something you can deal with? Because I've already put my time in. I'm supposed to be on, relaxing. I'm supposed to be recharging my batteries.
Yeah.
And sometimes, if they should respect that. Any good, employer should respect that and understand that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's see here. What was the other thing? Oh, I was also going to talk about the vibrations, distancing yourself from people, kind of keeping your away from them sometimes. That always helps. Yeah, I was just looking to see if there was something else on this one. Not really anything on there. Mm-hmm. So I did like this one, though. This little thing here I found. It talks about guard yourself, okay, stay away from the negativity. This is just like real quick. Shield yourself. Hang out with groups of 3 or more. If you think about that one, groups of 3 or more, usually it's people that are complaining are 2 people. One's complaining and one's listening.
Right.
Okay? If you're hanging out with 3, 4, 5 people, usually they're not all complaining because they're not all going to listen to the shit. Somebody's going to say, call bullshit on it and, move on with it.
Yeah.
Listening ear, sometimes people need to be heard. And so those are the things, you got to understand the difference in hearing somebody, listening to what they're saying, and taking on what they're saying. I can sympathize with you because you're having a bad day. You had that bad 5 or 10 minutes and you need to vent. I can listen to you and sympathize. I'm not going to take your energy on with you, though. Okay? But also with me, if you come to me and you tell me you had this issue, be ready. I'm going to listen, and I'm going to say, hey, but did you try this?
Yeah.
Because you got to go. I mean, you at the end of the day, yeah, there was an issue, but you could have fixed that issue a lot of times. And you may not have thought about it at the time, but who knows? Next time it happens, you can, reach out there and help. And that falls into the helping hand, helping people, helping them out. Light topics, which is actually like, we were talking about the common friends, the lighter topics, not actually really deep. Oh, did you hear about this in politics today? I mean, if you really want to get drained, start talking about politics and religion and all that other crap.
Yeah, no kidding. I definitely had to, when I worked in radio, I worked in news radio, you're surrounded by it all day. You're surrounded by the worst news all day because that's just the way, that's the nature of the business. And I got to be really good about, on the drive home, just kind of clearing my head. And then by the time I got home, my wife would say, hey, what happened today? And I'd say, I don't know. I don't remember, because I was able to just kind of let it all go. And you have to be able to do that stuff, or else it'll just drive you crazy, I think.
Yeah. I'm sure y'all have heard Michelle. Raise your hand. You've heard Michelle actually make fun of me for listening to Eminem. There's a reason I listen to Eminem, because you turn it up loud, you get out of the zone, and you get all the crud and crap away from you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's why. And I listen to loud music. And I don't listen to just Eminem either. So, but I do listen to loud music. I'm getting ready to. She doesn't know it yet, but I'm getting ready to change out my stereo in the truck and
There you go.
subwoofers in there and
There
stuff
you
like
go.
that. Yeah, you'll hear me down the road coming in. Reduce contact with those people that bring you down, that you'll eventually, the more you're around them and you'll identify these people that just, these are just soul-sucking sons of, and you don't want to be around them anymore. Okay, but don't. Figure out a way you don't have to interact with those people. If you have a coworker you don't want to interact with, guess what? They make emails just for that. Shoot email, boop, send, and don't have to worry about it. Believe me, even at my work, I got some of those. They get an email, I fire it back at them, and that's it, done. And if it really gets bad, nothing wrong with cutting them out of your life.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, it sounds harsh, but I mean, you still, at the end of the day, your energy is your responsibility. Your energy, you feeling good, is what's most important. So if you need to cut that person out and take care of yourself, that's just what you need to do. See, I did talk. I filled up all the time, Matt.
You did a great job.
See there?
I don't know why she had any doubt in you whatsoever.
I know, she was all doubting me. Look at all these comments, all these sad faces on here because of me. All right, guys. So I want to thank everybody for joining us tonight with my vampire teeth and all. Hope y'all enjoyed this evening. So that's it for this week. You can listen to SoulWhat on Spotify, the iHeart Radio app, Google Podcasts, iTunes, and of course watching live on YouTube at Michelle Soultopia, and both of our Facebook pages at SoulWhat, Soultopia Holistic Boutique. Thanks for listening to SoulWhat, where we discuss and where you decide what is important to your soul. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Matt. Y'all have a great evening. Later.